The story I'm going to tell you guys tonight is my own personal story. So welcome back to the Paranormal Bound podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Nathan. So let's get into it. Okay, so the story takes place back in 2015 to 2017, sometime around in those 2 years. I'm not exactly sure when it happened, but I knew after it happened to me, it would change my life forever and how I really viewed things on the side of paranormal. So since we're winding the clocks back, this is when I first started ghost hunting. And I had a few friends that would go with me, and it was really just all about trying to get something on camera, something that I could physically show people, because I believed, and I still do, but I wanted to show people that it was real. And then it happened. I ended up catching a ghostly baby crying on the voice recorder that we could not hear in the moment. And you got to keep in mind, this was something that you really only believed if you seen proof. A friend of mine who was a complete skeptic heard this recording and understood that I wouldn't doctor anything, and he was a believer from there. So now I am hooked to ghost hunting and I want to catch something. Weeks and months go by, I'm not catching anything. Okay, and I was starting to get this creeping feeling that I had to catch something on camera now. I caught something on audio recording, which if you guys go back through our videos, we catch plenty of things on our recordings that we can't explain. But I wanted to catch something on camera. And I started getting greedy. And I started getting reckless. So I knew a friend of mine who used to be part of the Church of Satan. And I said, hey, let's set up cameras and voice recorders, and let's see if whatever you were, I guess you could say, possessed by at one time comes out, and we could see it. And we had an idea at that point itself, to call some local pastors and preachers and even evangelists and see if they would come over and be the, I guess you could call the Bible readers of it. And none of them were interested. And honestly, looking back on it today, it's kind of crazy that I asked them that. But they said, look, that's just not something that, I can physically or mentally do. And so we decided, okay, that's perfectly fine. We're not going to judge you for it. We're not going to, talk bad about you because you refuse to do something for us. So me and my buddy were just going at this on our own at this point. Now, I need to say this for the listeners and the viewers of this video. Viewer discretion is advised. What I'm about to tell you is 100% real. And it was so haunting when it happened. It was one of those F around and find out moments. And I was terrified. So, we go to his house. We don't want to do this inside for some reason. For whatever reason, we're on the carport. And we end up setting up a few cameras. I think 4 or 5 cameras. It might have been 2 or 3, to be honest with you. I set up a voice recorder, hit record on everything, and I said, hey, do you have an idea of what you want to do? And he said, yeah, it's an old séance that I knew how to do with a mirror. So basically what was supposed to happen, and people in the comments, let me know what this séance is actually called. I'm sure some of you listening know exactly what I'm talking about. But the way the séance worked was candles were set up, words were said, and he still knew the incantation. He knew the words of the séance. You were supposed to be looking into a mirror, and at some point you were supposed to see the entity that was inside you in that mirror. And I wanted to catch this on camera. So the séance starts, and I'll be honest with you, I was a little bit weirded out at this point, and I didn't know exactly how to feel, but I wanted to feel as professional as possible and catch something on my cameras. And you got to keep in mind, this is not This is pre-Paranormal Bound days. Like, we didn't have good equipment back then. And I think I had some cheapo cameras that I got on Amazon. You know, the ones that cost like $30 and they look cool, but they're not at all. Yeah, it was one of those. So we do the seance, and there's I forgot to mention, there was two of our other friends. I think my buddy's brother and his friend were out there on the carport, and they're quiet. You know, they're skeptical just like anybody would be, but at this certain point, nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. I didn't catch anything on camera. I didn't catch anything on my voice recorder. And I'm like, well, this was a bust. We tried though, right? So my buddy is sitting on the ground around, you know, with his candles around, and he's just staring into the mirror. And his brother and his brother's friend go back inside, and they're just, you know, oh, hey, that was fun. Not really, whatever, we're going inside. So at this point, I'm like, well, it's a bust. So I get my voice recorder set up. I get two of my cameras set back up, or put up. I have one more camera, and I'm shutting it, turning it off, and I'm putting it in the bag. And I look down at my friend who's still sitting on the ground, not saying anything. I haven't even, you know, it hasn't dawned on me that he's still sitting there, not moving. And then I say, hey, bud, you good? I look up, I look down at him, I look back at my camera. When I look again, he was looking back at me, and I say that loosely, it wasn't him. Looking up at me was my buddy, his face, most of it. Okay, look into my eyes. These are human eyes. What was looking back at me was so far from human. The blackest pitch of black eyes you've ever seen in your life. I'm talking the darkest of dark. And not only was this thing looking back at me, it had a weird, creepy, horrifying smile on its face that I can't really even describe. It was almost... Now, I'm not saying that this thing did not speak to me, by the way, but I felt in my heart, I felt in my chest, like it said something to me, and it was basically like, you are nothing. I can destroy you right now. But it had this grin on its face, and the first thought I had was, don't break eye contact. Don't break eye contact. Stare this thing down and show it you're not afraid. That lasted for all of a second and a half. And this felt like hours that I was staring at this thing. It was more like 2 or 3 seconds. But I ended up looking down. So now it knows I'm afraid. And I don't want to look back, but at this point, I feel like I have to. I look back, and my buddy is just still sitting there, head down, not doing anything. And I said, are you okay? He's like, yeah, why? He doesn't remember anything. That part alone scares me so bad. And I told him the story, and he said, man, I don't remember it. I thought it was just a bust. So that F around find out thing. Okay, us here on the Paranormal Bound podcast, we do not go into hunts looking for demons. This is not something that we have caught a demon speaking in one of our videos, but this is not something we go in with whatever protection we can. We go in with protection chance. We go in with certain objects that, you know, give us peace. Like I'll let you guys in on a little secret. This little rock that says peace. I take it with me on every hunt we go on. It's just it's almost like a crucifix, I guess. To me, it is. You know, it's just I want to leave there. I go in with peace in my heart, and I want to leave there with peace in my heart as well. So, yeah, I mean, I know some of you think you've seen worse, and I'm not doubting you have. But when it comes to dealing with something demonic, you are not prepared. I mean, unless you're a Christian, I guess. Some Christians will say they're not afraid, but I don't think they've ever been face to face with it either. And this thing, I'm not joking with you guys. This thing, it's almost like it could have done anything to me. It could have taken me over. It could have destroyed me. It could have killed me. It could have taken over my buddy and slit my throat if it wanted to. Like, there was nothing out of bounds for whatever was looking at me. It was something pure evil from the depths of hell. It caused me to quit hunting the paranormal for years. And I've only come back to it now because, the friends I have, Rachel and Victoria, they love it. I love doing it. They're a good team to be on. And, we really just want to find as much paranormal stuff as we can. But, it's just, sometimes it's not that easy. So basically, I wanted to tell this story to you guys. We're starting to get a little bit of a following, and those of you who are here and view our videos and comment and like, we love you to death. We're going to start doing short form content like this as well through the week, aside from the podcast and our ghost hunts. So we're going to start giving you guys a heck of a lot more content. So stick around for that. And go check out our TikTok, Paranormal Bound Podcast, and our Facebook, Paranormal Bound Podcast. Go check both of those out. Share them with your friends. Get our names out there. We are a quarter of the way to our first goal on YouTube. Our first goal is 1,000 subs. We are at, I think, 255 the last time I checked. So guys, keep sharing our stuff. Keep liking our videos. We love you so much. As soon as we can, we're going to try to get merch, and we're going to make the merch as comfortable as possible. It's not just going to be some random shirt you buy on the internet. We're going to make sure it's comfortable and it looks really cool. Some of them are going to glow in the dark. So, like I said, guys, I'm Nathan. I'm one of the hosts of Paranormal Bound. This has been fun. I can't wait to see you guys again.